Hey Clashers, the new equipment, the Electro boots for the Royal Champion are a really hot topic in Clash of Clans right now. Because whenever I do a video about this equipment with like any strategy, I see a lot of comments like this. iTzu, this equipment is going to get nerfed. iTzu, this equipment is way too strong. iTzu, when I have invested ores into this equipment, it will be already nerfed. So I thought I would talk about today if I think it is too strong, if it's too weak, or is it right in between, it's totally perfectly balanced? As well, if there might balance changes to equipments happening, what could be the earliest? Because we could already know with like just following the timeline. But I think we're starting things off with talking about my point of view when it comes down, is this equipment too strong? And I will show you some attacks in the background which are showcasing why a lot of you are saying that this equipment is maybe too strong. And I think we're starting with the question of, is this equipment broken, perfectly balanced, or way too weak? And for this we have to understand that this equipment is bringing a complete new way of playing the game. It's creating a complete new strategy, which is the Royal Champion charge. And that is kind of like some of the other epic equipments. So we have the Fireball, which has completely started to revamp how you can use the Warden with like Warden charges. And this is now a similar thing for the Royal Champion, where we have Royal Champion charges becoming really popular and a really solid viable option for attack strategies. So with that on mind, we have to understand that the Fireball in the beginning, you could get crazy value every single time because it takes bases some time to adjust. The same thing for the Electro boots, because Electro boots are really good versus stacked and really heavily concentrated areas of the base where a lot of buildings are close together. And well, we have a Rage Tower meta, which means everything is really close together. So it's the perfect scenario right now where the Royal Champion with Electro boots can struggle versus invisibility tower bases or poison tower bases, because this is dealing splash, slowing her down, and making sure that you have to invest way more of those invisibility spells compared to before. So there's a couple of things playing in favor of this equipment right now. So to make the answer pretty short is, we cannot say it yet. It's not possible to say that just yet if it's too strong or not. On top of that, you have to understand that Supercell recently has started to pretty much purely go based on hit rate, on the success rate of the overall Clash community, if they want to nerf, buff, or just not do any balance changes at all. That was already the case for the latest equipment balance changes which we had earlier this year, where some equipments had just way too high success rates, where the overall players had too many successful attacks compared to the average success of the other equipments. And this is not good. We can see this already in the current meta. The current meta is so much more enjoyable than what we had with Town Hall 16, because I'm not talking about the overall difficulty level, I'm talking about the strategy variety. On Town Hall 16 we had first only Root Riders, then we had only Druid attacks, and now we have like 10 to 15 strategies which are all viable, all really strong. And this is what we're trying to fix with those balance changes. Bring things more in line, make sure there's more equipments are in line with each other. And this is what happened earlier this year. As well, a lot of people were expecting a Fireball nerf. But the Fireball is an equipment which is not easy to use, and this is why it's barely, why it nearly got buffed, okay? The Fireball was so close of getting a buff because it has such a bad hit rate for most players in the game. Obviously, I don't know if that changed by now, but still, this is something to consider. And we don't know the hit rate of the Electro boost right now. With what I just said, that Supercell is now going for hit rates, for success rates, and using those for balancing. Well, currently we have an event going on, which means you cannot collect any stats. Those event troops, they're not balanced for the regular gameplay, which means they would completely destroy any data Supercell could collect, which means collecting data right now is making no sense. The second point now is as well that currently mostly players who are investing a lot of money, like pros for example, top pushers and all those players, and not as many regular clashers have invested into the Electro boots, which means that the stats right now are really one-sided. So Supercell will probably take some more time to actually collect those data and Again, I really want to highlight here, once again, before we're jumping into the timeline, when we could expect possible changes. I really want to highlight that I think right now there should be no emergency nerf, whatever, or anything. I think right now the equipment is right in between of balanced and really strong. Somewhere in the middle. We don't know exactly where, because we have not seen bases adapting just yet and everything around that, so we cannot tell. And this is coming from me, who's like typically really quick on the call. Like with the Root Riders, I said, yep, they look quite strong. With the Druids, I have said as well that they should get nerfed and everything. So that's coming from me, who is like typically really quick on the trigger. And, well, I think we should still take some time, and especially Supercell, with collecting their data. But now let's take one step back. When would be the earliest where Supercell could take those data things, or like in general the hit rate? Well, the most likely thing would be the Clan War League in the beginning of the next year. Which means, if they're collecting the data from this Clan War League season, that would be middle of January, right? Like that would be the middle of the month, because they would need to like have the Clan War League play out, collect the stats, get a decision. Right after that, they have already said that whenever they're doing equipment changes, they're trying to give the players a heads up. Because equipments and ores, that's already a really hard topic in itself. Because ores are really tricky to get. I mean, I'm already saying for like now 10 months pretty much, that I think that Starry Ore should be somehow implemented into the daily star bonus and everything, but let's make it short. It is always a big struggle to get those ores to get your equipments upgraded. And this means Supercell is deciding, or has decided, that okay, they want to give players a little bit of a heads up time if they're doing equipment balance changes, which means roughly 1 month. So this means if they know the decision, if they want to buff, nerf, whatever, change anything with the Electro boots or any other equipment, that will be around mid-January, the middle of the month. 1 month later then, because this is where the announcement time would happen, that will be middle of February. This will be the earliest possible, pretty much, where we could see balance changes. The only exception would be if the Electro boost would completely break the game, which is not happening. Yes, I know there's some titles out there who likes to put it that way, but let's be honest, it's not breaking the game whatsoever. It's really strong, but it's not breaking the game. Breaking the game means like back in the times where the bad spell was released, that was breaking the game. The Electro boots, not so much. I have still plenty of defense in Legend. I think it's still one of the best strategies to defend against, at least for me and my base right now. But overall, it is not breaking the game. So, in my opinion, I think Supercell should wait, collect the data, and then get the decision in of if they want to change the equipment or not. As I said, for anyone who is like thinking about investing into it, I would say it's completely worth it, because even if it's getting nerfed, it would not change the use case of that equipment. But at the end of the day, you have to decide on your own. It's just my point of view, okay? Overall, I hope you like the video. It's like a little bit more like let's talk episode, kind of with like some background attacks. I hope you like this type of content. Let me know if you would like to see something like this more often in the future, if there's like a really hot topic like this equipment right now in the game. Otherwise, as always, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys back tomorrow with the next Clash video. Until then, see ya and bye-bye.